Final Fantasy 14. See, I hate being that guy, making videos on subjects that are trending because people will assume it's because that thing is trending. But one look at my analytics will tell you that's not it. Not exactly pushing numbers here, folks. Now, sometimes the thing you want to talk about is also the thing everyone else is talking about. It just happens. I've avoided this topic for that very reason, but the latest patch gave me reason to change my stance. I'm going to rehash the same crap that WoW refugees, old school Final Fantasy weeb nerds, and every desperate YouTuber looking to cash in on a trend has said before. I'm certain of that, because a lot of them are objectively true. I have some stuff to say that others probably don't, though, because I've been playing the game for like 7 years, am not only not a weeb, but hate weeb stuff generally, and enjoy different parts of the game than it seems a lot of other people do, probably because I've played it more than most of them, and am not bum rushing endgame to try and make content on it for clicks. And also, I just generally prefer Western game design. This video and my Elden Ring video may suggest otherwise, but I think that's more down to Western devs going a generic bland direction that I don't like, and Japanese devs going in an interesting direction that I do, but either way, both games are kind of exceptions. Yet I adore Final Fantasy XIV and the Endwalker expansion as well, and this 6.1 patch in particular has done one thing that seals it more than anything has done before, and that's saying something for a game that I've played for 7 years. However, let's start at the beginning, and the elephant in the room. World of Warcraft. Yeah, I not only said the one thing that everybody says to get the SEO tags and views, but now I've gone and said the other. I've made Warcraft videos on this channel for years, actually, and though many of them have been scrubbed over time for one reason or another, the thing is, I've played WoW from vanilla, mostly casually, and the Burning Crusade a little less casually. I spent most of the time leveling characters, never really did raiding, some heroic dungeons and PvP and more leveling. Didn't spend a lot of time on it relative to some other people, that is until Wrath of the Lich King. The Arthas story had grabbed me since Warcraft 3, and him being the focus kind of pulled me in. I joined a guild, we raided every tier, I made friends that I talk to this day on social media, and stayed with the game with various breaks on and off ever since, while all of them sort of faded away. Then Warlords of Draenor came, and most WoW players will say they hated it, and I actually won't. I didn't love it, but there was just a lack of stuff to do. You raid and then you would log out, so I was raid logging or unsubbed at this particular time, forget which, when my friend Core convinced me to check out Final Fantasy XIV. Shout out to Karethus, by the way. He has a Twitch, streams more than me, he's more hardcore gamer than me. You can check his shit out. I'll put a link in the description or something. Anyhow, Core asked me to play Final Fantasy XIV. Weeb game, I said, and he had played a bunch of games with me, so I said I would give it a chance. As has been said, anytime anyone brings it up, the original iteration of the game failed. It was rebooted as A Realm Reborn, and I played through that content, and man, did it used to start slow. It still does, but WoW refugee pussies, you have no idea. I remember almost rage quitting the game and telling Core, fuck man, I've done this quest 5 million times, tracked halfway around the world to fill up a bucket of water and then bring it from one dude to another dude 15 feet away. Fuck this game. And yeah, that was a thing. OG Final Fantasy nerds will back me up on it. It's right around level 30-ish. They revamped the 1 to 50 A Realm Reborn content last year, and so you Sprout fuckers have no idea how grateful you should be for how much we bitched about it to get it into the playable state it is in for you now. Anyhow, it didn't quit. I stuck with it because, hey, I can grind out, get to max level, tell Cora I was sick of it. We've both done that with other MMOs. Between the two of us, we've pretty much played them all. And not feel like it bitched out, but something happened. The gameplay, with its slower pace, obligatory 2.5 second global cooldown comment that literally everyone says, and if you haven't heard about that, then this is your first Final Fantasy XIV video. Welcome, go grab the free trial. It started to get more complex though, weaving in and out of global cooldown abilities, buffs, and timing up all your cooldowns for big damage or big healing, as I had taken to White Mage main blood for the motherfucking Blood Lily. And through that beefed up combat, the story started to become interesting. It started as many MMOs do, with you as a nobody adventurer. Go fetch this, go kill that. Didn't think much of it, though the dialogue being in nice little boxes allowed for it to be kind of digestible. I never really read quest text in WoW, and I bet you if you played it, you didn't either. But over like 10 plus years of playing it, yet here I was, reading every bit of text, even if it wasn't engaging at first. Oh wow, you're special, huh? Who'da thunk? Chosen one? Yeah, okay, sure. Warrior of Light, you say? A cool story. Killing Primals, though, that's what got the first hooks in me. Primals is a game conception that is essentially a thought form, or an entity brought forth by the collective belief of the people in it. The power of this world is called ether, and it flows basically all around and in living things. And if people believe in a god enough, they form a primal out of that power, who comes down and enslaves their mind to them. If the primal runs out of power, which is often given to them via crystals, they fuck off back to the ether, but you stay mentally enslaved and go around hunting crystals like a bald meth addict until you can resummon them. The Warrior of Light means these guys can't enslave you personally because you've already been enslaved to Crystal Waifu Mommy Heidelin, a sort of meta goddess made of the same crystal, supposedly, and she sort of summoned you into the world to begin with. So you're free to beat their ass, beat their slaves' asses, and save the day. So you join a group of semi-competent people called the Scions of the Seventh Dawn and seek to kick ass and craft bubblegum. Oh yeah, crafting is an actual class mechanics and story. Cool shit, you should try it. Fishing is epic, but moving on. Primals are pretty much an excuse to have cool big monsters for the Warrior of Light to kick the shit out of and drop loot. They can use old Final Fantasy characters, the first primals being the summons from previous games, mythological gods or beasts, whatever. It's a clever way to say anything we think is cool can be a boss for you to kill. So the story comes together, right, and I'm hooked, and we go to fight the evil Empire of Evil Power Rangers of Evil with a head boss guy who may or may not have had a point, and he says, "How very glib, such devastation," and all the other memes of A Realm Reborn patch content. Side note, the revamp of Praetorium and Castrum in 6.1 are great. I play through the first expansion, Heaven's Ward, and the story's even better. A lot of the annoying fetch quest shit has been streamlined. The music is sublime. It's about fucking dragons, like literally chick fucks a dragon. That kind of starts the whole thing off. It's a little cringe. It's what you expect out of a Japanese game, but whatever. Versus the fantasy pope. And it turns out that they all suck, and you're just so epic that with the sheer power of my healing, I saved all that shit and then went to fantasy anime land. There I met a Yandere dominatrix chick, and then I also went to the Final Fantasy desert place and fought uber angry chick and dude who gives exactly 0 fucks. Then like we freed the whole land and traveled through time and space to another world, only to become the Warrior of Edge, Warrior of Darkness, and then the end times came. Look, if you want a story breakdown, I'll say this, it's all about hope versus entropy, and it gets deeper and more philosophical as you go through, and it's kind of great. It deals with the concept of maintaining hope in the face of nihilistic cosmic apathy. On the smallest and grandest scales, and through tragedy and triumph, and a smile better suits a hero, and I'm not crying, you're crying, fuck you. The story sets a backdrop for epic battles against primals, dragons, and other shit. Some iconic Final Fantasy characters, giant bird girls from space, Moogles, whatever the fuck they are, and that absolute bastard red chocobo in Bajta. Yeah, fuck him. You know the one. Anyhow, rating and whatnot has like clean telegraphs and on-screen prompts that tell you a lot just visually. Most boss mechanics are actually easy to just eyeball, but fun to pull off once you figure them out. Unlike WoW, most raids are just one boss with no trash. Smaller group sizes than WoW, with the most top-tier content being 8-player, and Alliance raids, the 24-man content, being more akin to WoW's less difficult LFR raid mode. I like that. I always like 10-man raids in WoW anyhow, but to each their own. If you like bigger ones, you might not like it. All content you can scale to your level and gear down to it, or face it over-leveled and overpowered, so nothing is ever truly irrelevant content. It even gives you endgame currency to go help noobs out with their dungeon and raid runs. Important side note, there aren't really alts in Final Fantasy XIV. So in most MMOs, WoW included, if you want to play a different class, you start a new character from scratch. Maybe you have some carryover stuff like faster experience point gain or mounts or whatever, but most of your progress is usually starting from scratch on each class character. Not so here. Here, you need to level each class or job as it's called on its own, but it's on your same character. Your story, progress, inventory, and all else is shared because to switch jobs, you just switch weapons. This alone has kept me more than anything. Leveling other jobs is a pastime for me. Then there's the tons and tons and tons of side stuff. The Golden Saucer with all kinds of casino shit for cosmetics and mounts and whatnot. Crafting, like I said, gathering, player housing. Here's my guild house. You craft. You find and farm up stuff to decorate with. It's pretty awesome. Treasure maps and treasure dungeons, which is my actual end game. Farming them up and going for broke. Rolling the dice, high-low roulette. Getting faked out by the game and all that. Deep dungeons. Yeah, I spend way too much time in the Palace of the Dead. I love it. Heaven on High is okay too. Trying to solo them as far as I can. There's like 200 floors and I've gotten through like 80 of it. It's good time. It's basically like a roguelike dungeon inside the game with its own separate leveling system, which starts you on your class of choice at level 1 within the dungeon, and you level up pretty fast. And then it gives you experience and stuff for doing it when you come out of the dungeon that carries over to your actual class. Love them. Heard there's another one coming. Can't wait. There's a full-on trading card game called Triple Triad. Tons and tons and tons of content. There is a major flaw, though, for me, or there was. So yeah, PvP. Garbage. Like, garbage. I used to think maybe it was just like nobody did PvP, and if people just played it more, but no. The balancing and whatnot was just awful. These 3 faction system front lines, which led to my theory about it being the player's fault because the losing faction would almost inevitably always target the other losing faction, and the winning faction just runs away with it. I figure if people were organized, knew how to play better, it would be better. Sometimes you'd get a good match, so it seemed like a sound theory. Inevitably, I would get frustrated and say, oh well, PvP is always going to suck in Final Fantasy XIV, and so I should just look for it elsewhere. The average player is more of a PvE Care Bear anyway. Would play WoW just for the PvP, go pick up a game called Battlerite, which was pretty good, but no one plays it anymore. Smite, Heroes of the Storm. Still, I would love the PvP in Final Fantasy to be awesome. Well, patch 6.1 dropped, and yeah, they rebooted PvP, and it's awesome. The ability rework got rid of a lot of the button bloat without touching the PvE class balance at all. So now you have a much sleeker set of abilities, and there's an ebb and flow to combat. Abilities aren't all one-shots, nor are they slapping a brick wall for an hour. Things hit, do damage, people die. Yes, this is what I want. They pushed out and took out the ability to talk to randoms in the party and replaced it with basically emotes, but whatever, small gripe. So, great job, Squeenix, you fixed the gap in your game. Still some balance needs doing. Dark Knights are too edgelordy and basically can't ever die, which they should be a little tanky, but damn, it gets a little ridiculous. Ninja stuns are on the absurd side at this point, but overall it's good. PvP doesn't suck and is kind of fun, actually. And there's even more. They added a seasonal progression, Series XP, which, let's be real, is just a battle pass, only it's free and built into the game, and it's something to do and gives you some progression and rewards over the long term. Before, people only ever did PvP for the daily roulette, and that only when there were Moogle Tome rewards, which is a system they have to give you the more kind of off-beaten rewards. Having a battle pass system with cosmetic rewards? Good shit. But on top of all that, they added a new mode that, frankly, I'm addicted to. And it's why I'm finally going to do the algorithm-friendly thing and make a Final Fantasy XIV video. And that is the Crystal Conflicts. Let's fucking go. So, simple mode, fast, ranked, 5v5, push the payload, environmental hazards, long respawns, 10 plus seconds. And here I find myself queuing again and again and again. The 5-minute matches aren't too long to get you super frustrated and aren't too short so that you feel like you didn't even get a chance to get started. Pushing ranked mode, this could be a game all on its own and I would love it. There isn't even all that much to say about it outside of what I just did. But I took the chance to talk about the game overall and just to point out that, yeah, PvP is finally good now and this is the heart of PvP. It's practically perfect for Final Fantasy XIV, though if I were to make one suggestion, maybe instead of just environmental traps, throwing in some monsters would create fun chaos. Maybe they aggro anyone in the crystal space at random. Maybe they have knockback attacks. Maybe they give you some kind of buff. I don't know. Other than that, it's great. Around the 5-minute matches with the small amount of XP and currency rewards whether you win or lose, and now you have a game mode that you can actually level all jobs with. Work on the battle pass. Do the Garrow event thing they have going on right now that I have no idea what it's about, but it gives you stuff, so I'm down. And it's all wrapped up in a fun little almost MOBA-esque game mode in short bursts. Great. Next, do more, Squeenix. More maps, more little modes that are short and simple, more hazards. You finally nailed it. Just drip feed more of this to us. I can't really review the game overall, since we're in the 5th expansion pack, or something like that. And whatever, I played like 1,600 hours or some shit of the game over 7 years. Obviously, I love the game. Just go grab the free trial if it sounds even mildly interesting. Play through that, which is like 200 hours of content with the initial game, A Realm Reborn, and the Heavensward expansions. Yeah, go play all that for free, and if you hate it, nothing lost, just quit. But while you're there, queue up for Crystal Conflicts so I can beat the fuck out of you and raise my rank. I just want to thank everybody who's watched videos. We have had some good success on some of them recently on the channel, and I am humbled by it. And I hope to keep bringing you more.